and this is Konami's Road Fighter. This is actually the first of two top-down racing games that will both be released in July. About a week later, Zippy Race would come out. I guess they weren't afraid of flooding the market with top-down racing games. Now for some reason, when you start the game, you can hold down the acceleration button all you want, but your car accelerates much slower than all the other cars. Now we call this a racing game, but the idea really isn't to cross the finish line before other cars, or even to cross the finish line before the timer, but rather to cross the finish line without running out of gas. If you look down towards the right, you'll see a fuel gauge. This is constantly going down. In fact, it lowers even when you're not moving. For example, if you crash, you lose some fuel, and then it continues to go down even while you're still sitting there. So I guess the fuel gauge basically is a timer after all. Keep an eye out there for Konami Man flying across the screen. Yes, this game was the first appearance of Konami Man. He flies by occasionally at random. You get extra points if you manage to stay alive while he crosses the screen. Didn't happen to me, unfortunately. The multicolored cars that you see are actually fuel cars. You'll want to collide with those while avoiding all other vehicles. Once you finish this race, you'll move on to the next level. There's 4 levels altogether. After the 4th level, the game simply repeats infinitely. Now one thing that's a little different about this game is it's not one of those games where if you get hit by a car you'll automatically explode or run off the road. In fact, if you do get hit, you can actually recover by pressing the D-pad in the direction that you're swerving. Just like real life, you can turn the wheel and recover from a swerve. The exception are the trucks. You'll explode automatically if you hit those. Now on this level, for example, the roads are so narrow that you really have almost no room to recover from being hit by a car. There's so little space that it almost sort of knocks you directly off the side of the road. Once you hit the side of the road, your car will crash and you'll lose some fuel. You'll see this here in just a second. Once you get all the way through all 4 levels, as I mentioned earlier, the game will simply repeat. One thing you might be thinking about this game is it looks an awful lot like Spy Hunter. And unfortunately it does sort of play like Spy Hunter as well, but without the various guns and weapons and power-ups and that sort of thing. In fact, I think the first time I played this game, when I saw one of the trucks, I thought, oh well, I'll go ahead and line myself up behind the truck and go inside and get a power-up, but no, it doesn't work the way the trucks are just regular cars. Another obstacle are the oil patches that will send you sort of careening off in one direction. So yes, this is not really a bad game. It's reasonably enjoyable for what it is. It plays kind of like a dumbed-down version of Spy Hunter, unfortunately, but it's certainly not as bad as Zippy Race, which we'll be seeing in a few moments here.